Someone sent Rachel Maddow fake NSA documents alleging Trump-Russia collusion. MSNBC host Rachel Maddow gave a heads up to other news organizations on Thursday after she was sent what she believes are fake National Security Agency documents alleging collusion between a member of the Trump campaign and Russian government. Somebody, for some reason, appears to be shopping a fairly convincing fake NSA document that purports to directly implicate somebody from the Trump campaign in working with the Russians in their attack in the election, Maddow said in a lengthy segment on her show. She suggested that the unified muckraker who sent her the fake documents hopes to undermine news organizations in general and deflate the Trump-Russia collusion investigation, which has been going on for nearly a year. This is news because why is someone shopping a forged document of this kind to news organizations covering the Trump-Russia affair? Maddow asked. On June 7th, an unidentified person sent documents to an online tip line for Maddow's shows, she said. That was 2 days after The Intercept published legitimate NSA documents that were stolen by Reality Winner, a contractor for the agency. Maddow said that the documents sent to her show appeared to have used The Intercept's published documents as a template. Secret ID markings on The Intercept reports appeared on the documents passed to Maddow. She said the metadata from the set of documents sent to her show preceded the publication of the documents published in The Intercept. Maddow suggested that it was possible that whoever sent her the forgeries had access to The Intercept documents, but she also theorized that whoever sent her the fake documents could have changed the metadata somehow. The documents Maddow received appeared legitimate at first glance, she said, but several clues suggested that they were forgeries. Typos and spacing issues raised eyebrows, but it was secret markings on the documents as well as their contents that convinced Maddow and her staff that the records were fake. But Maddow said that the big red flag for her and her team was that the documents she was given named an American citizen, a specific person from the Trump campaign who allegedly cooperated with the Russians during the presidential campaign. We believe that a U.S. citizen's name would not appear in a document like this, asserted Maddow, who said that her team consulted national security experts on the matter. And so, heads up everybody, Maddow warned. The host pointed to two recent retractions, one at CNN and the other at Vice News, and suggested that they were the result of a similar scheme to undermine news outlets covering Trump. So, in other words, you get the gist here that Rachel Maddow is trying to save her butt, and they were the ones that sent this, or it could be from the Hillary camp helping them out. You get it? Podesta's, to help the media out. She all of a sudden was so brilliant and discovered that her and her staff discovered that these documents were fake. How absurd, how absurd, how absurd after the amount of destruction CNN had done to themselves. She's trying to hide herself, and they did this on purpose. You know what? I'm not even going to read the rest of this article because it's you can read it. I'll just this is the end of the article. It's not worth it. So we get the gist. Rachel Maddow is pumping fake news again. But let's take a listen to her speaking here about the situation.
This is news.
Really, Rachel? Huh?
Because.
Really, you retard.
Why is someone shopping a forged document of this kind?
Podesta and Hillary sent it to you.
Trump-Russia affair.
Let me redo that because I'm talking about this. I'm talking
over. This is news. Because
Look at the retard.
Why is someone shopping a forged document of this kind to news organizations covering the Trump-Russia affair? Last week, 3 journalists resigned from their jobs at CNN after that network retracted a story they had written about the Trump administration related to the Trump-Russia affair. CNN says the sourcing of that story, in retrospect, did not meet its editorial standards. Also last week, Vice retracted 2 stories about the Trump administration. Like CNN, Vice also cited problems with the sourcing of those stories. The thing that's knocking around in the back of your mind right now is from 2004, when the legendary Dan Rather lost his career at CBS over a story for the Evening News that delved into George W. Bush's truncated service in the National Guard during Vietnam. The Rather team had documents that they got from a source that they checked out, but the sourcing of those documents was later attacked and undermined. CBS was ripped to shreds over the process it went through that resulted in those documents being put on the air as the basis for that story. Still, over a decade later, the origin of those documents is murky. But undeniably, CBS running that story was a disaster for 2 things. It was a disaster for everyone involved, and it was a disaster for a news story. Right, that was, in personal terms, that was the end of a trusted voice of reason and insight and perspective, Dan Rather, as a regular presence in the family living room. In terms of the news, that was a spike through the heart of the story of George W. Bush's National Guard service keeping him out of Vietnam, which was a true and interesting story, and which really might have been a serious ongoing political liability for candidate George W. Bush. But nobody was ever willing to touch it again during that campaign because of the way those documents purporting to prove out the worst aspects of that story blew up like a pipe bomb at CBS News. And so, heads up everybody, this is what I mean by an inside-out scoop. Somebody, for some reason, appears to be shopping a fairly convincing fake NSA document that purports to directly implicate somebody from the Trump campaign in working with the Russians on their attack on the election. It is a forgery. Let me caveat that. It is either a...
She can't even lie with a straight face. Do you see her, the way she's telling the story? Do you... Look at her. Look at her.
This is news.
Do you see? Do you see? She can't even fake it.
Because why is someone shopping a forged document of this kind?
It's a joke. It's a total joke. It's a total joke. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.